So I hope that you guys took advantage of the pre-work stuff. Looks like we need some more ink. Logic is the study of the methods and principles of reasoning. Argument is a set of facts or assumptions called premises and to support a conclusion. So you need a premise. Could be premise 1, premise 2, could be multiple premises, and then hence the conclusion. A fallacy is a deception, right? So appeal to popularity, right? Many people believe P is true, therefore P must be true. So this example says, well, you guys are young, so back in my day, this was actually true. Well, not true, but this was a commercial, I should say. So there's a lot of fallacies in the commercials itself, right? There's a reason why they, like when they talk about a prescription drug, they kind of read the issues that the drug might have really, really quickly, right? May cause death, may cause, right? May cause you to lose your left arm and stuff like that. So here, Ford makes the best pickup truck in the world. More people drive Ford pickups than any other light trucks. Premise, more people drive Ford pickup trucks than any other light trucks. Conclusion, Ford makes the best pickup trucks in the world. Why is this a fallacy? And then we get false cause. Now, you guys do need to remember these because you might need to label them during the exam. Okay? Which one fits where, per se? Just because A came before B, therefore A must have caused B. Right? So, you came in the room, I became sick, so you must have made me sick. Right? It had nothing to do with me not having, having the lack of sleep, haven't kept up with my nutrition and stuff like that, right? Haven't taken care of myself, haven't stayed hydrated. It's not that. It's you, right? So that is false cause. Appeal to ignorance. There's no proof that P is true, therefore P is false. Any examples of that? We do it quite often. Especially when a cop pulls me over. If I was speeding, I'd be like, didn't realize I was speeding. Right? That's the appeal to ignorance. Oh, I didn't realize the speed limit was. I didn't know that there was a stop sign. Right? Or my HOA says you need to remove those sticks from the yard. And me saying, I didn't know I had to do that. Didn't realize I couldn't do that, right? So we do that quite often. Hasty generalization. This is the way they felt about, what is the movie called? Was it Aaron Brockovich? Is that the movie? Julia Roberts plays a lawyer, and a town was trying to sue the company. Remember that? I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before. But the company is trying to say is a hasty generalization, right? Just because there's 2 cases of 2 people getting sick in this town doesn't necessarily, I can't remember what the cause was. If it was because of the waste in that town, right? Like the company poured their waste in that town, and that's what happened. And then there are a bunch of sick people. So they think it's a hasty generalization. All companies are going to say that, right? So like if you read this right here, 2 cases of childhood leukemia have occurred along the street where the high voltage power lines run. The power line must be the cause of these illnesses, right? Chances are it is probably true, but they're going to say it's a hasty generalization. This happens all the time as well, right? There's plenty of people that did not like their choices in 2024, right? But if you didn't like Biden, you must support Trump. If you didn't like Trump, you must support Biden, right? So that happens quite a bit. Appeal to emotion. This is also a commercial. See, back in my day, there was a lot of commercials that we couldn't skip after 5 seconds. Like the ones that you guys can skip on YouTube, right? We don't get to skip those. Like commercials. Not until TiVo came out before people were able to skip commercials, right? They can start a program late and go, and then when there was, because it would record, and then you can skip through and then you'll hit to the live part, right? So not until TiVo came about is when you could skip commercials. But this was actually a commercial, right? They would have the Michelin Man and a baby and a tire being safe traveling the roads, right? So if you want to protect your baby, you must buy Michelin tires, right? And if you don't, you must not care about your babies, right? So that's appeal to emotion. Personal attack. I have a problem with the person or group claiming P, therefore P is not true. This never happens, especially at this day and age. Actually, it happens quite a bit, doesn't it? Even more today than yesterday's or yesteryears. This happens a lot more. Scary part is, I should say, the sad part of it is the yesteryears. These were called stereotypes, right? Based on the skin of your color, you must be associated to A, B, and C, right? Therefore, all people of that color must be the A, B, and C. Which for me, I do not wear a camera around my neck. I do not snap pictures everywhere I go, right? Circular reasoning. This is what a lot of people do when they try to return stuff. They keep on trying to reasoning and saying the same thing over and over, just different ways, until they get tired of them and they're like, all right, fine, let's just take care of it. The red herring. You're not going to see this as diversion. You're going to see this more of a red herring. P is related to Q, and I have an argument concerning Q, therefore P is true. This is kind of like throwing the baby out with the bathwater idea, right? This happened a little bit with AI as well. Straw man. This is called politics. The scary part is that we don't understand the ins and outs of a lot of politics these days. There's a lot of other things involved that we really don't understand. So they're going to try to throw something out there that diverts your so-called attention so that you're not asking the real questions that needs to be asked. The 5 steps to evaluating media information. Like if we look at news sources, right? We know that CNN is going to lean one way, Fox News is going to lean another, right? The scary part is that the truth is somewhere in there, in between those two. So consider the sources. A lot of times when we search Google, we see certain things, right? We look at the titles and we start hitting on that, and we get certain information when it's from 10 years ago versus something that was 2 days ago. The problem is that a lot of times we like to jump to conclusion on things instead of validating the accuracy. And that's something that you guys, well, this is when cheating with AI is no good, right? You tell it to write a paper for you, it writes a paper, you copy and paste, and then when the teacher's reading it, and they're going, wait a minute, this paper was supposed to be about, you know, the state of today, and in your paper it talks about Christopher Columbus and the Pilgrims. What the heck does one thing have to do with the other, right? Watch for hidden agendas. And don't miss the big picture. Well, so much writing to do. Yeah, that whole section is just reading. So I would strongly suggest that you go back and read those and get those examples. Okay? So a proposition is either true or false. We're going to use the truth table to set out all those propositions or possibility of propositions. Negation is just negating. So if something is true, if you negate a true is a false. If you negate a false is a true. Double negation means if you double negate a true, it's true. If you double negate a false, it's false. Okay? So the logical connectors are and, or, if then, if and only if, which we'll talk about all of those. And I'm going to give you guys stories on how to remember when things are true or false based on those logical connectors. If it's an and, that's called a conjunction. And the symbol is like an up arrow. That's what it looks like, right? So with an and, so the only time that an and is true is when both things are true. So if you said to your parents, hey, I'm going to go to the movie tonight and I'm going to go out for dinner, the only time you told the truth is if you actually do both, right? If you don't do one and do the other, if you only went to the movie but didn't go to dinner, you lied, right? If you didn't go to the movie, only went to dinner, you lied. If you didn't do both, you just went to a party, you definitely lied, right? That's why when girls talk to their parents, well, I shouldn't say girls, I should say when most teenagers talk to their parents, they don't tell the whole truth. They told the truth, just not the whole truth, right? So with and, take that as the case, right? The only time that it is that you told the truth is when you did both things. That's what an and is. But with an or, it's different. That's a disjunction, right? If you said, hey, I'm going to have dinner or I'm going to go to the movies, the only time you're lying is if you don't do either one of those, right? If you didn't go to dinner, you didn't go to the movie, you went to a party, you're still lying. Make sense? But if you did one or the other, you're not lying. You went to dinner, didn't go to the movie, you said or, so you didn't lie. You went to the movie, didn't go to dinner, you didn't lie. You did one or the other. And if you did both things, you still didn't lie. You have to do both things. So whenever in doubt, use or. Don't use and. And the last implication or conditional, we usually call it conditional, is usually using an arrow. I should put that down in here. Usually it's an arrow. Like this. Okay, so with conditional, I use a car wash story. Tell me, are these good deals? If you wash my car and I pay you $50, is that a good deal? Yes. True. If you wash my car, I don't pay you $50. Is that a good deal? Hence the false. If you don't wash my car and I pay you $50, is that a good deal? Heck yeah. Really good deal, right? And if you don't wash my car, you don't get paid $50. Is that still a fair deal? Absolutely. So if you use the car wash idea, you'll see everything there as well. The only time it's a bad deal is if you did the work and I didn't pay you. Other than that, it's pretty fair. Is that fair? So these 6 right here are all the same as if P, then Q. Notice, however, please notice, that all of these are still talking about the same thing. Notice with the wording on the right column here that the Q in the wording came first, but it's still P then Q. Okay? Are you going to see this often? No. Okay? You're not going to see it often, but it will show up. If anything, this tends to show up more often. Now, just so you guys know, the hypothesis and the conclusion is only really for the if-then. If this hypothesis is true, then this conclusion is true. All right? Now, here are some of the other ones that you need to know. So the conditional is the original. Okay? The conditional is the original. The converse, like the sneakers, Converse, you switch them, just like switching your sneakers. Okay? So let's do this. Inverse means to negate them. Contrapositive means to do both, to switch and negate. So when you guys see the word logically equivalent, it is talking about when you look at the truth table. If this is true, true, false, true, false, true, true, and this is true, false, true, true, then these two are logically equivalent to each other. Meaning that the conditional and a contrapositive are logically equivalent to each other. While the converse and the inverse are also logically equivalent to each other. And all this table is doing is showing that. Now, my ultimate question is this. Do you guys know how this table is made? And how many rows should there be if it was 3 letters? Like PQR. Or 4 letters like PQRS. Do we know how to make this table if that is the case? Anybody with a no? No idea? Okay. No. It's 2 raised to the number of letters. So PQ is 2 letters. 2 raised to the second power is 4. That's why there's 4 rows. If it's 3 letters, it'd be 2 to the third, which is, right, because 2 times 2 times 2. So there'll be 8 rows. Okay? So your next question is, okay, now what? How do I know where to put the trues and the false? Is that what your question is going to be? You can either start at the end, which is the far right, which is the true, false that you see. You can start on this end. So you pick, once you do it, you get to the last letter, and you start with true, false, true, false. True, false, true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. Okay? And then the next row, you double it up. Since there was singles, now it's going to go doubles. And then from doubles, it'll go double that, so quads. Okay? So let's say if I had, let me do this. Let's say I have 3 letters. Okay? So I can either go, okay, it's true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. The only reason I did that is because I know that there's 3 letters. So 2 to the third is equal to 8. So I know there's going to be 8 rows. Right? So I start from the end, true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. That's 8 of them, yes? The previous one, I'm going to double that. So true, true, false, false. True, true, false, false. Then when I go previous, double 2 of them. What was double of 2? Or you can go from the front over. You go from the front over. Since I know I have 8 rows, I'm going to start with half of it being true, half of it being false. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then half of that. True, true, false, false, true, true, false, false. Then half of that. True, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. Does that make sense? If it was 4 letters, it would be 2 to the 4th, so that's 16. So it would be 8 trues, 8 falses. Then 4 true, 4 falses. 4 true, 4 falses. And then 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? Are we doing okay there? No problems? Aw, that's it. Are we going to do any examples? Wow. They really jumped stuff. This course boggles my mind too. Just so you guys know, it totally boggles my mind. Not a big fan of teaching this class because it boggles my mind. All right, so now we're getting into sets. So before we're talking about truth tables, now we're talking about sets. All right. Couple of things that we want to point out. Number one, we use a squiggly bracket when we're going to list a bunch of members in a set. The 3 dots means it goes on and on and on, either to the left or to the right. So if I said dot, 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 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 that means the dot, dot, dot in front of the 1, 2, 3 means the numbers coming from the left. So -2, -1, 0, and then 1, 2, 3. To the right of the 3, the dot, dot, dot means it continues on. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on and so forth. Okay? So that's what the dot, dot, dot means. Venn diagram is just using circles. So if I was to look at the first picture there, it just says that A is a subset of B. Because A is inside of B, so A is only a part of B. So it's a subset of B. The second picture says is a disjoint. Disjoint means they're not joint together. That means there's nothing in A that would be shared with B. Make sense? The overlapping, the third one, means that there is some things that is in A that is also in common with B. Ooh, let's get some of this done. So as a subset, it says, so when you see the whale circle inside the mammal circle, that means all whales are mammals, right? Because the complete circle is inside. If part of the circle is outside, then it'll be some whales are mammals. But since it's completely inside, that means all. Right? That pink circle basically is the world of whales, all whales. Make sense? Since it's inside the blue, that means it's inside the mammals family. So all whales are mammals. So why the rectangle then? The rectangle represents the rest of the world. Okay? And then if there's disjoint, then it's saying that no fish are mammals, and no mammals are fish. Right? Now, you could turn this around and say that some mammals are whales, right? But really, this is more about all whales are mammals. You can look at this two ways when it's overlapping. You can say that some doctors are psychiatrists, or you can say some psychiatrists are doctors, right? They mean the same thing. But it also means that there are doctors that are not psychiatrists, and there are some psychiatrists that are not doctors. Okay? We have to make sure we separate that. Doctors that are not psychiatrists, doctors that are psychiatrists, or psychiatrists that are doctors, psychiatrists that are not doctors. Food that are not vegetable, we know plenty of those. Foods that are vegetable, and vegetables that are not food. I'm trying to think of a vegetable that's not food. The corn that you feed cows? What kind of corn are those? Because those are not regular like corn that we would buy, like sweet corn.
Hemlock.
Is that what it's called?
No, it's like hemlock would be a vegetable.
What is hemlock?
Poison.
Oh, is it? I have no idea. It's a vegetable, but it's not a food. Okay, fair. If hemlock is poisonous, then we probably wouldn't eat it as food. Any questions here, guys? Are we okay? Yes? We sure? All right, let's see if we can do this then. So you're given a table. $350 births by birth weight, status, and mother's smoking status. Tell me where these numbers go. So I guess the question is, what should these two circles represent? Okay, let's start this way. What should this piece represent?
Things that smokers and non-smokers have in common.
Is there anything in common from this table? No. So there's nothing with smokers and non-smokers that has in common. So therefore, we don't want to call one circle smokers and one circle non-smokers, right? Because there's nothing in common. Agreed. What do they want to illustrate, do you think? I'm going to guess that they want to illustrate in a picture like this if I can write in a circle. Right? Because that has something in common. Okay, let's look back at the table. So which number represents this red shaded area? 18. That's the smokers that have low birth weight, right? Okay. Where does the 132 represent then? Where is that located? What goes in here then? Huh?
Why wouldn't the purple circle represent non-smokers?
Because you don't have anything in common. I agree with you.
I understand. Yeah, I understand.
That would be my first instinct is going smoker, non-smoker. The problem is that there's nothing in common. No.
Well, can't you argue that the left side could also be non-smoker? One circle should be smoker, one should be non-smoker. And it's not giving you enough information. It's not asking you anything. There's not enough information to answer a question. They just have a graph there.
No, but here's the thing. So we're talking about a birth weight, right? So what would be common in a smoker and non-smoker? And regular birth weight too, right? So that's where the issue comes into play. And again, what is your diagram trying to show? So if the diagram was trying to show that smoking is no big deal, right? That not smoking is actually going to harm the baby, then it will probably be non-smoking and low birth weight, right? Because low birth weight is not good for the baby. And they were like saying, hey, smoking is good for pregnancy. Then they will probably put down non-smokers in here, right? So all of these can be intersections. So you can say smoker, low birth weight, smoker, normal birth weight, non-smoker, low birth weight, or non-smoker, normal birth weight. You can put either one of those here. Does that make sense? Because those are the numbers that are actually in common. Then these number changes because of what you label these two circles. If I'm trying to convince mothers to stop smoking when they're pregnant, I probably want to show this. Although the 132 doesn't seem like it's going to convince a mom to stop smoking when there's only 18 that has low birth weight. True? And when we finish the numbers, you're going to see more of why this makes more sense. Ready? So low birth rate or weight that's not smokers are these right here. Right? Because this 18 are low birth weight that are smokers. So what's the other number that's low birth weight? They're non-smokers. Does that make sense? This is the part that you're going to be making it more sense. The 186 represents the non-smokers, right? And a normal baby weight or normal birth weight. Is that right? non-smoker, okay? Is the smoker circle within the non-smokers, or is it the non-smokers within the smokers? Which one is smaller? Okay, if you look at smoking moms and non-smoking moms, which circle is smaller? Which population is smaller? The smoking moms are smaller. So in other words, in this case, smokers. Is the low birth rate a smaller population compared to normal birth rate? Also smaller. Does that make more sense?
I understand what you're saying. It's just more so the graph, this particular graph. I can't get over the blue one being the smaller and the purple one not being the non-smaller.
I understand. I understand. I understand. Well, if you look at it, the 186 doesn't really have anywhere to go. Right? Because it's non-smokers that have normal baby weight. Well, it's not, that doesn't belong in this circle, nor this circle, so it has to belong out here. With that emergence of a new COVID-19 virus spreading, the rest of the world, the whole population. That's the reason why I wanted to put the 186 and then talk about how the smoker is a smaller population, so that's why it's a smaller circle. I don't disagree with you, buddy. Because it's like, if I label one smoker, the other one should be non-smoker. If I label one low birth weight, the other one should be normal birth weight. Okay, if we look at low birth weight and normal birth weight, is there a section that is in common? The low normal birth rate? Correct. So based on it, well, again, the table shows us intersections, right? So, yes, could I put it in the section of non-smokers and normal baby weight? Sure. But then I couldn't label that the population, the whole, is non-smokers or is smokers, because I couldn't say that the non-smoker is a smaller population than the smokers. Right? It's got to be the other way around. Same thing with the low birth weight. That's got to be a smaller population than the normal birth weight. Because if it was the other way around, we're in trouble, because that means a small population has normal birth weights, while the rest of the population have low birth weights.
Shouldn't the 14 and the 18 be switched then? The non-smokers still, the thing that they have in common is low birth weights. So if they both have 14, shouldn't the smoker section be in the 18? I don't know.
Well, the 18 is a crossing of these two circles here. Smokers with low birth weight. So if you look at smokers with low birth weight, it's 18.
I'll take your word for it.
Couldn't you what? Oh boy, then there's going to be multiple numbers inside. Like, so it looks like an eyeball? Yikes. We're going to have to come up with a new textbook, guys. We have a new textbook, guys. Check this out. All right. Let's see how well you guys fill out this one then. Good luck. Oh, this one is even worse. Human blood is often, oh, Nikes, classified according to whether three antigens, A, B, and RH, are present or absent. Oh boy. Here's the scary part about this whole thing, is that the reading is important. So please read. I'll let you guys read while I chow down my food. I need to get getting cold. All right. We have 3 circles. Where are you going to label them? I don't know. I don't think so. Because if you have one that is, because if you do RH, then how are you going to separate the positive and the negative?
RH is positive. Like if it's present, it would be in it, and if it's not present, it wouldn't have anything to do with RH.
So you would call one of these RH? So where would the positive go? Where would the negative go? Say that again?
If RH is present, it's positive, I believe, but if it's not if it's not within RH, if it doesn't have RH, then it's negative by itself, or vice versa.
So are you saying that this here is all negative? RH? Say it again? This thing? That'd be what? Negative RH? Well, you just, so where's the negative RH? Because the RH is right here, right? Either positive or negative. So what's AB? What's AB? Both have A and B, right? Is that what it says? So it contains A and B. Huh? Look at the two I highlighted. Okay, again, what is O? Huh? No, A and B is the one that contains both A and B. Has neither A nor B in it. So where in here should AB be in? There's AB here and AB here. One has to be positive, one has to be negative. Where is O negative? There's no other places, is there? Let that sink in. Interesting. This is interesting. Because as much as you guys are messed up with it, I'm looking at it going, can I mix O positive blood with B negative blood and get B positive blood? And just start stirring it. All right, let's inject you with this. You guys ready? Let's inject you with this. Huh? All those mixing would be a fatal mistake. This is why the O positive is separated from the B positive. But you can see why I would mix those two and say, oh, that must be the center, right? But it's not the case, guys. Remember that these are separated. This is not intermixed with this. Okay? That would be scary. Very, very scary. Was that C? Holy cow. And did you guys know that we are canceling class on Wednesday? Okay. Let me look at something really quick because I want to make sure this is the case. Because part of me wants to continue, part of me wants to delay. Oh. I would delay. Because this becomes a whole different issue here, guys. So I'm going to leave this alone for now. So what I want you guys to do is work on A, B, and C. And I want you guys to bring any questions you guys have. Or actually, send me any questions you guys have. Okay? I don't know if everybody here or in this class has responded to that message. But if you haven't, please do. Because if you do, then I won't have to put a post on the door to say, hey, there's no class today. I'm still going to be here, but because I'm running, a professional development going on, I have a competition going on, and then I have family friends coming in this week, and then next week I got family coming in. So it's going to be quite a poop show the next couple of weeks, especially on my end. So if you guys are going to see like if Chan is really what he say he is, if there is anything that stress Chan would come out, it would be the next few weeks. So if you want to test me, that's the time to test me. All right? But don't test me. Huh? You know how like sometimes when people are stressed, that their real person comes out? The next few weeks is stress Chan. So if you're wondering if he is usually just this nice, this is the time to find out if he really is that nice. Because, huh? Oh, no. If it was 5 years ago, yes. Now, no. Chances are what you met so far is who I am. But I'm just saying, this would be, like, if you don't see the mad, stressed out Chan, then you won't meet any other Chans. Okay? Any other questions? All right, ladies and gentlemen, please have a wonderful, blessed weekend. Please be safe. Love you guys. I'll see you guys next Monday. Later.